Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Venkat and in this tutorial I will explain on AWS. So we will go through what is cloud computing, what are advantages of cloud computing, cloud providers, AWS introduction, AWS services tour, AWS free tier account creation, regions and availability zones, EC2, EBS, load balancer, auto scaling, S3 buckets, Route 53, Elastic Beanstalk, IAM, VPC, RDS, AWS CLI, CloudFormation, AWS Lambda, CloudWatch, SES, SNS. Okay, so these are some services which are available in AWS. So in AWS we have 200 plus services, but most of the companies are using these services. Okay, so in our upcoming sessions we will go through all of these services. Okay, so before going into AWS cloud, I will explain about what is infrastructure. So let's say suppose I want to start a school for providing education to students. Okay, so for that I need to take a building for rent, and in that I need to set up an environment. So for that I need school infrastructure like tables, chairs, boards, dusters, books. So if I have all this infrastructure, then only I can provide the education for the students. Okay. So in the same way, I will start a new software company so that client will come and provide the projects to the company. So once I get the project from the client, I need to develop and deliver the project to the client. So in order to develop and deliver the project to the clients, I need to have some infrastructure, that is IT infrastructure. Okay. So first I need machines. So if you have machines, then we can develop the projects, right? And next I need to have some web servers. So if you have web servers, then we can deploy our applications. And next we should have database servers. Okay, so if you have database servers, then we can store our application data. Okay, so for that we need to have database servers. And next I need to have load balancer. Okay, so if I want to divide the incoming traffic between the multiple servers, I need to have the load balancer. Okay, and next I need to have network. Okay, so in order to connect to the multiple servers, I need network. And next I need power, I need storage, I need security. So I need security for the infrastructure, and I need to maintain all this infrastructure. Okay, maintenance is required. So if I have all this IT infrastructure, then only I can run the company, and then only I can develop and deliver the projects to the client. Okay, so I need all this IT infrastructure. So I need machines, I need web servers, I need database server, I need load balancer, I need network, power, storage, security, and maintenance. Okay, so if I have all this infrastructure, then only I can develop and deliver the projects to the client. Okay, so next, so how to run one software application? So as we know that every application will have three layers. Okay, so one is UI, that is front end layer, and another one is we have business logic layer, and last one is database layer. Okay, so business logic layer is also called as a backend layer. Okay, so here we have end users. So these end users will interact with UI, and UI will communicate with backend, and backend will communicate with database to store the application data. Okay, suppose if you go to facebook.com. Okay, so this is the UI, right? So here user will enter email ID and password. So when we click on this login button, so this UI will communicate with the backend, and backend will communicate with database, which will store the data inside the database. Okay, so this is all about three layer architecture. Okay, so here one person is not sufficient to develop this entire application. Okay, so here we need DB admins. Okay, so these DB admins will set up the database server. Okay, so once the database server is set up, we can store the application data. Okay, so here we need DB admins, and we need network admins. Okay, so as I said, here we have three layers, right? We have UI, backend, and database layer. So all this will be deployed in different servers. Okay, so in order to have a communication between one or more server, we need to have a network. Okay, so that network setup will be done by this network admins. Okay, and next we have to purchase the machines. So here one machine is not sufficient to develop and deliver the project to the client. So we should have thousands of machines. Okay, so for that we need to purchase the machine, and also we need to purchase the servers. Okay, so here one server is not sufficient to deploy the application. We should have multiple servers. Okay, suppose like if millions of users are accessing my application, then I need to deploy this application in multiple servers. Okay, so that we can reduce the load on the server. So for that we need to purchase the multiple servers. Okay, and then we need to set up the network. Okay, we need to set up the network, and we need to set up the power backup for the machine. So here we have to set up the power backup for the machine. Okay, and we have to set up the IT infrastructure to run the application. Okay, and also we have to deploy our application. Okay, and last thing we have to monitor the IT infrastructure, like we have to check how the servers are running, so is network is fine, so everything we have to monitor. Okay, so these are the things that we have to take care if we have to develop one application on our own. Okay, so here we may face some challenges if we do it manually on our own. Okay, suppose if we monitor all the IT infrastructure, so we may face security and privacy issues. Okay, so this is the one problem. And next we may face scalability problem. Okay, so suppose I have Facebook application, so based on the incoming traffic I need to increase or decrease the server count. Okay, suppose if 1 million users are accessing my application, I need to increase my server count from 1 to 10. Okay, suppose if 10 users are accessing my Facebook application, then I need to decrease the server count from 10 to 1. Okay, so based on the incoming traffic, I need to increase or decrease the server count. Okay. So if we manually monitor IT infrastructure, then scalability is one of the big challenge. Okay. And next, here we may face availability. Okay. So here 24 by 7 and 365 days IT infrastructure should be up and running. Then only our application will work. Okay. So this is also one of the big challenge. And next, we have poor internet connectivity. Okay. Next one is pure internet connectivity. Okay, so we cannot say to client that there are some variants and facing some network issues. So please try to access Facebook application after 2 hours. So will client accept this kind of request? No. Okay, so client will accept Facebook application to run 24 by 7 and 365 days. Okay, and then disaster recovery. Okay, suppose there is an earthquake in an area. Okay, and due to that servers are crashed. So what about the application and what about the application data? Okay, so disaster recovery is also a big problem. So these are some challenges we may face if we monitor all the IT infrastructure manually. So in order to avoid all these problems, so companies are going for two options. One is on-premise infrastructure and another one is cloud infrastructure. Okay, so what is on-premise infrastructure? On-premise infrastructure means we have to purchase everything, we have to manage everything, and we have to monitor everything which is required to run our application. So in this process, lot of challenges may involved. Okay, so if you do it manually, so these are the challenges which are involved. Okay, so if you want to manage everything on our own, then it is nothing but a on-premise infrastructure. So if you do not want to purchase and manage everything, then there is one option called cloud infrastructure. So in cloud infrastructure, we do not have to purchase the infrastructure. Someone will provide the infrastructure to us, and we have to use that infrastructure, and we have to pay the rent for the infrastructure. Okay. So when we are developing a project, we should not think about the power, server, network, scalability, privacy. So we just need to focus on the project development, and infrastructure will be taken care by the cloud providers. Okay. So most of the companies are going for the cloud infrastructure so that company can focus on the project development. So there are some companies who will provide the IT infrastructure for their end. So those are called as cloud providers. So there are some cloud providers which are available in market. So one of them is AWS. So we also have GCP, that is Google Cloud Provider, MS Azure, Salesforce, AWS, Oracle. So these are some cloud providers which are available in market. So in order to develop a project, we need IT infrastructure. So we have two options. One is to purchase everything and other is to take the IT infrastructure one rate. So if you go for the first option, we have to purchase the machines, we have to purchase the servers, we have to recruit the DB admins, we have to recruit the network admins. So there is a lot of cost involved in first option. Okay, so in order to avoid, most of the companies are going for the second option. Okay, so if you focus on the IT infrastructure, we cannot focus on the project development, and if you focus on the project development, we cannot focus on the IT infrastructure. So to avoid this, most of the companies are going for the second option, which is nothing but a cloud. Okay, so what is cloud computing? So cloud computing is a process of providing IT resources over the network with pay as you go pricing model. So we have to take the IT infrastructure for the rent from the cloud provider, and we have to pay as per the usage. So advantages of cloud computing are pay as you go model. So whatever the resources that you use, so you have to pay accordingly. Okay. Then we have a low cost. So here we no need to purchase the servers, machines. We no need to recruit the DB admins, network admins. Okay. So all the things will be taken care by the cloud providers. Okay. So this is one of the advantage. So next is scalability. So based on the incoming traffic, we can increase or we can decrease the servers count. Okay. So that is nothing but a scale up and scale down of IT resources. And next, availability. So 24 by 7 and 365 days, all the infrastructure will be available. Okay. So that will be taken care by the cloud provider. Next, we have a reliability. So we will get the strong infrastructure, which means IT infrastructure will never fail. Next, security. AWS will take care of IT infrastructure. And next, we have unlimited data storage. And next is backup. If there is any disaster, so cloud provider will take care of our data. Okay, so these are some advantages with cloud computing. So most of the companies are going for the cloud rather than on-premise infrastructure.